Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here then hello and welcome. I hope you guys are doing very well. So today I'm doing my favorites of 2025. My last video was my least favorite makeup. I didn't have a crazy amount of products because I did say in that video that this year I really haven't been trying a ton of new stuff. Well, this video kind of defeats that argument because I have so much stuff to talk about today that I'm going to keep everything kind of as brief as I can. This stuff I have used on my channel constantly. I use it on my TikToks all the time and like my Instagram kind of reels and YouTube stories and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know what you guys have been enjoying this year. Thank you so much if you've been constantly watching my content. I wanted to get to 1,000 subscribers this year and I'm almost there. So if you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate it. So hopefully next year at some point I will get to 1,000, but let's get on to the makeup. So we're going to go in order of how I would normally do my makeup. So let's start off with primer, and I have two primers. So the first one is by Maybelline. So this is the Grippy Serum. This is their 24-hour serum, and I've been using this constantly recently. When I've been getting up for work in the morning, I get up around 6 in the morning most of the time, and I just quickly do my makeup, and this really helps sticks any foundation that I have onto my skin. It's one of those grippy primers which is essentially like the kind of elf one, and then obviously the Milk original one, but this is obviously the Maybelline version. I have like 2 or 3 of these, so I've been kind of like going in between them. I don't know why, but I have been using quite a bit, and to be honest, I've had so many other primers this year that I've been using, but this one I've just been enjoying the most because it's not overly tacky. It doesn't feel like it's dragging on my skin like when I put it on. It just feels really nice and comfortable. And then the other primer is by NYX. So this is their face glue. And I was kind of thinking, did this come out in 2025? And it did. And for some reason, I think it came out more at the beginning of the year. That's probably why I was kind of thinking, is it 2025 or is it 2024? But yeah, this is another primer that I have absolutely been loving because of how tacky it is, how well it sticks on my skin. It's probably my favorite foundation of this year. I did do a video, I think it was a few months ago, where I kind of did like a full face of my current favorites of the year, and I kind of feel like that video I haven't really changed much, if that makes any sense. Like there hasn't really been anything new that has kind of come to the table to kind of change my mind about what my favorite is. But yeah, this is a really nice, again, kind of like a tacky primer where it really grips and stays on your skin all day, especially with long days. Like I work 9-hour days now, so I'm kind of at work all day, running around, walking around all day, and just in kind of different lightings and different weather conditions. So this is a primer that I've absolutely been loving. So yeah, these two have been my staples. Okay, so with foundations, I have 7 foundations, and again, I have been trying a lot of foundations, and these ones I feel like are kind of my staple of this year. So I'm going to talk about ones that I've been talking about like the most this year. So first is by Revolution. So this is the Skin Silk, and this is their Luminous Serum Foundation. I have the shade F2. I use this non-stop. I'm actually surprised that I haven't finished it yet, but you get so much in here. You get like 23 ml, which is 0.77 fluid ounces, and I love this so much. I believe I am using it today, and I just think it's a foundation that you don't need too much to have a good coverage. You just need something to kind of be a good layer of my skin, because I have very pigmented red skin. I have rosacea, so this actually does a really nice job of covering that up. It's a very medium to buildable coverage, so you don't need a kind of ton, and if you do add a ton, it doesn't feel cakey or it doesn't feel heavy. It kind of feels like nice and just like a nice good foundation, if that makes any sense. And I think this is only $10.99 or something, so for something that has been lasting me a long time, I think this is again probably one of my favorite foundations of this year. And I think in my video this was my favorite, and to be honest, I haven't really found anything that's kind of been as good, but there's definitely 1 or 2 that I'm going to show you that is kind of competing with it. So the next one is more of a lighter coverage. So this is by NYX. This is their Buttermilk Glaze. So this is a skin tint. So this is not necessarily going to be like a high coverage foundation. This is something for a light sunny day. If you don't have super red skin like me, this is going to be perfect for you. If you have like nice, perfect kind of soft skin, this is going to be amazing for you. For someone like me, I have to build it up a bit, but if I want to have a foundation or something that's not too full coverage, or I just want something light to kind of cover up a little bit, this is perfect for it. I have the shade Vanilla Bean Butter. This is shade number 2. I can also use shade number 1, even though that's a tad lighter, obviously. I think that one is, I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, I have like a few of these as well, which I've been kindly gifted like left, right and center. But yeah, I did buy one myself and I really like it. They have a new foundation coming out soon, so when that kind of comes to the UK, I will pick it up. I think Cult Beauty already have it when I'm filming this, but I'm going to see if like TikTok shop get it soon, so then I'll pick it up from there. But yeah, this is definitely another skin tint that I feel like is great coverage, but it's not like invisible on my skin. So let's talk about some other favorites. So Tear. So I finally tried Tear this year, and this foundation, oh my god, I have been loving. So I absolutely love the coverage. So this is a red one. This is the Mask Fit red cushion. So I believe they've got like 4 other different versions, which I really want to try. So I will try my best to kind of buy the minis of them because I want to see what type of coverage they have. This is in the shade 17 in Vanilla. This is a tad yellow for me, but I can still kind of make it work when I kind of like add my other things on top, so it doesn't look too weird on my skin. But the coverage is insane, especially with the sponge applicator. Oh my god, when I tap it on, it is like I'm putting on another layer of skin. But yeah, it looks great on my skin. I don't want to add like too much to it because it ends up looking a little bit cakey. But if you just add kind of like the standard amount, so when you obviously use the sponge and then you kind of tap it onto the skin, looks so good. I mean, you don't have to add too much because again, like I said, if you add too much, it does look quite cakey. But I feel like this is a foundation that I am very glad that I bought because I think I got it on like a sale. I think, can't remember where I got it from, but I really enjoyed this foundation. So next we have 2 surprises in my kind of yearly favorite. So these are by Elf. So this is the Halo Glow Skin Tint and then also the Soft Glam Satin Foundation. I normally really don't like Elf foundations, but this year I feel like these have really changed my mind on that. And I mean, I'm not saying that any foundation that they come out with in the future will be as good, but for me this year I feel like these have really changed my mind on some of the previous ones. This Halo Glow Skin Tint, it kind of reminds me of the L'Oreal Infallible Skin Tint, which I feel like is a very like full coverage skin tint, if that makes any sense. So when I put this on, it's really watery, so you do have to give it a bit of a shake, but the product is still quite watery. But when you tap it in with like a sponge or something, the coverage is insane. I really like the coverage on this, and I feel like this is not a skin tint. I feel like this is more of an actual foundation, and this actually has SPF 50, which is perfect for my skin. Now that we're kind of in the winter, the sun is still out. Like today is a pretty sunny day, so that's why I've got my blinds down, so that's why it looks a little bit darker than normal, so I apologize on that. But if I wanted to have something with sunscreen, this is going to be perfect for that. And then also I've been using this Satin Glam foundation recently when I've been going to work, and I've just been using a little sponge, and the coverage is really good. I think this shade might be a little bit darker for me, so this is in 25 light neutral, and it's got a slight deeper tone to it, but the coverage is so good. So I have something where my top lip is constantly just like sweating, and it's really horrible because that means the top part of my foundation ends up separating even before I've left my flat, so I look like I just have a massive patch on my face, and this does not move, this does not budge. And even when, like I've said, I've done a 9-hour day, I am looking a bit oily. My powder, I haven't powdered because I don't bring powder with me when I go out, even though I will start doing that now. This foundation looks great on my skin. So I've got 2 more foundations. So this is by Maybelline. This is their Lumi Matte Foundation. I've seen a couple of people that I follow not like this foundation, but I really enjoy the coverage on this. Again, it does budge slightly, especially with my top lip, but then I just add a bit of a concealer on top and then just powder it, and then it's kind of okay. But with this, I feel like the coverage is pretty good, and I feel like you get a lot for your money as well. I think again this is like $10.99 or around that kind of price. But yeah, I just love the coverage on this. There's no way I would wear this for 30 hours. There's nothing in my life where I would need to wear a foundation for 30 hours. But I haven't really tried many Maybelline foundations. I've tried a lot of L'Oreal ones, but Maybelline, I think I've tried one or two which I've really enjoyed. So this is another one that I like. And then the last foundation, which is definitely been worth the wait. So this is the About Face, the Performer. So Space NK finally have um, like the newer stuff when it comes to About Face, and I've been really enjoying this. And I know that they've just come out with the concealer, which Space NK don't have yet, because I would have picked that up straight away. But this has definitely been worth the wait. I love how well it is like on my skin, the coverage and the longevity on it. And I think with About Face, they're pretty affordable when it comes to how we are in the UK. So I think this was like £18, and this is huge. Like, this is a lot of product. And they have their eyeshadow toppers and their lipsticks and their eye paints and stuff. So I really like About Face, and I'm really glad that we now have this foundation, because I waited so long. I think I waited like a year for it to come out. So for me in the UK, this is brand new. This is not like, it's been out for ages and I've just tried it, but yeah, I love this. So let's go on to a bronzer and some blushes. So the only bronzer that I have is by Maybelline. So this is their lifter stick, and I have the shade 35, and I was kind of given this in like multiple different ways, but I also picked it out myself because I have really enjoyed Maybelline this year. And so with this, again, in my least favorites, I spoke about the Makeup Revolution kind of jelly bronzer that I didn't enjoy because there was no pigment. This has a very nice buildable pigment to it, so you don't need too much to kind of blend in. And the color wise, again, I'm still not brilliant at bronzing. I'm still trying my best to figure out the best way to bronze, the best way to kind of sculpt my chubby face, but I'm slowly getting there. But with this, it blends out beautifully. It reminds me of the Rare Beauty bronzing stick, and that one, again, I feel like coverage wise is still very similar to this, so you don't need too much to kind of build it up. You just kind of put it on, you blend it in, and then you kind of add a little bit more if you need to. But I feel like this does a perfect job to bronze my skin. So let's go on to some blushes. And back in the day, I would have so many blushes, but now I think I have four. Well, I have four. I don't think I have four. I have four. And these have been ones that I've just enjoyed the most, that I've been using the most. So the first is by Huda. So this is her, what is this called? This is the Blush Filter Watermelon Pop. So I can't remember if this came out this year or last year, but I have been enjoying it a lot, and I feel like coverage wise this is brilliant, and I really want to try some of her other shades as well. But it blends in beautifully. Like, for me, you only need a tiny amount for it to go a long way. And I haven't tried a ton of her products this year because, for me, I do feel like a lot of her products are quite expensive. I really want to try her blush quad, but it's like £40, and I don't really feel like I need it at the moment because I've previously used her powder blushes. I'm not the biggest fan of kind of that formula, so if it's a new formula, then I'll probably give it a go maybe in the future. But I have been enjoying her powder recently. Like, when I've been going to work getting ready, I've been using her mini powder. It's like the older version now. It's not like the new kind of box, the tubs and stuff. But I've been really enjoying that because it really helps my kind of like foundation and my makeup stay on for a while. So next we have the Rare Beauty. This is the Soft Pinch Blush Matte. So it's what I'm using today. And to be honest, my purchasing of Rare Beauty has really dipped down this year. They just really haven't had anything that I've enjoyed, and this is probably the only thing that I have purchased from them. I did buy, I don't know if it was this year or last year. I know that they've come out obviously with a ton of skincare and their body care and all this stuff, which I'm not really that interested in. And obviously I don't know if it was this year, but their blush highlighter kind of luminous thing, I think it was last year, I can't remember, but those I still use and I really enjoy. But this is, again, the only thing that I picked up, and for me, I think this is a shade that works really well for me, because in the past I have picked up shades that are a tad too dark for me, or probably too light, but I feel like this is perfect. Okay, so I only realised just now that my audio cut out, so I apologise. Well, you guys won't notice, but I apologise for any kind of sound different that you're going to have now. The last thing that I was talking about was my Rare Beauty blush. So let's go on to the Revolution. So this is the Icon Revolution Trio. So this is meant to be kind of like a kind of dupe, even though I don't know if we're still going down that route of like what dupes are anymore, but yeah, it's kind of similar to the One Size or also Patrick Tar. So you have the cream one at the top, you have a powder, and then you have a highlighter and blush kind of merging together, and I have been absolutely loving this. I love just how this kind of color works on my skin. I think this might be the only version of this kind of trio that came out, so if you do have deeper skin, I don't know if this is going to work for you. I have just been really enjoying this, and especially the highlighter. So the highlighter and kind of blush is really gorgeous. I mainly would use it as just a highlighter because I feel like the blush part of it is probably not my favorite, but as a highlighter it works beautifully. And then the last blush I have is Super Bougie. So this is by YSL. So this is in the shade Make Me Blush, and again, this is the only like high-end product that I've purchased this year, and I at the time had like where I worked previously, I had like my discount, so I used it, and that's how I could have really afford it. But I've just been loving this so much. I feel like this is probably my favorite blush of the year because of how beautiful it looks and how long it lasts on my skin. And yeah, when it comes to YSL, I feel like some of their products can be a bit higher, like very high end, but then some things can be quite affordable. I mean, I wish I could buy some more shades, but this is again the only one that I'm gonna buy. But yeah, I absolutely have just been loving this blush. So let's go on to eyeshadow palettes, and I actually have 4 that I feel like have kind of stood out the most to me. And to be honest, I haven't tried that many eyeshadow palettes this year because I have literally so many that I feel like if I buy any more it'll just be so pointless. So these 4 are ones that I have just been using like non-stop. So this first one is by Revolution, and I use this all the bloody time. Like I've been using this more than my kind of like Project Pan. So this is the True Icon, and they have about 4 or 5 of different versions of these, and this is meant to be kind of like a similar version of the Patrick Tar Dimensions 2 palette, which I do now own. I got it last year, I love it. But yeah, this is absolutely stunning. The shimmers are so beautiful. This is a really nice neutral palette if you want to just have some like nice nudes and a really nice shimmer and a nice shimmer just to top up, just to go on top. This is amazing. This is only £8. You really can't go wrong if you do want an affordable version of Patrick Tar, because that palette is what, 60-70 pounds. I don't know, I didn't have money for that. Like I actually got it part of like a competition that I won. But yeah, this is like super affordable. And Revolution, for me, again, I feel like I've been doing some really great stuff this year. Some pants stuff, but some also really great stuff, and I feel like this is probably one of my favorites. Next we have by Cosmic Brushes. So this is their Starlight Society, and it's been a while since I purchased anything by Cosmic Brushes just because I do really like their palettes a lot. I think I have about 5 or 6 palettes, so it's what I have on my eyes today. I do have a dedicated video to this if you do want to see it, but yeah, I'm using it on my eyes today. Nothing too special, just something really to the point because I just wanted to use it after a while. And yeah, I love Cosmic Brushes. They're super affordable. I feel like, not obviously like super affordable, but this was, I believe, £28. My favourite palette of theirs is still the Gothic palette, which is probably going to be one of my favourite palettes ever because it's so absolutely stunning, it's so pigmented, and I feel like their formula is really good. Yes, I keep it still in the box because I'm one of those people, but yeah, I've just really enjoyed this palette this year. I haven't had a lot of time to play with it recently because I don't really have a lot of time sitting down and filming as much as I used to. I wish I did, but adult life. But yeah, I've just been really enjoying it this month. So the next palette I have is by Jolie Beauty, and this is their Tainted palette. And I've not tried their eyeshadow palettes before. I've tried a few of their lip products, which I do like. I find them a bit too drying, to be honest, but when it comes to this palette, oh my god, this is absolutely stunning. Like, I've used this palette quite a few times, and I feel all the shades just work beautifully for me. And I've done a video for it, and then I've done quite a few like TikToks and stuff like that just dedicated to it because I feel like the color story is right up my street. It's absolutely beautiful. They have come out with quite a few collections this year. I really wanted to get the Aussie palette, but it's just, again, something that I don't really need. That makes sense because I'm a big Black Sabbath fan, but the collection is just, it's fine. I mean, but I feel like when this came out, I think this came out before, but I just really love the color story for this, and I love the payoffs, and everything is stunning. So let's go on to probably my favorite palette of the year, and that is no surprise, but it's the Glamnetic Lord of the Rings palette. So in my video that I've spoken about, this was the palette, and I've used this so many times, but I still am absolutely obsessed with this collection because I'm a big fan of the Lord of the Rings, and again I have a dedicated video to this. And I also bought the highlighter, which I really like, but I think it's the eyeshadow, this palette, which is just an absolute game changer. And if you haven't seen what the palette looks like, it's a lot of greens, it's a lot of purples, which for me is right up my street. And yeah, you've got some blues and just things like that, and everything which is obviously connected to the franchise. They've never done, no one's ever done like a makeup collection dedicated to Lord of the Rings. So as soon as I saw that it was coming out, I purchased it. Like, I really wanted to get the Sauron lip kit, but I've just had an issue with it on the website. I just had an issue. Well, the website had an issue at the time that I purchased it, but I'm still really glad that I picked up the palette because again, it's just beautiful, and the payoff on it is stunning. Glamnetic have come out with quite a few collections this year, which I really haven't purchased anything because it's just really expensive to get everything like shipped over, but that palette is probably my favorite of the year for sure. Okay, so now we're going to end on the lips. So what I have on my lips today is by Morphe, and this is their lip filler Hydro Plump Soft Matte Lipstick. So this, I said when I first reviewed it, looks exactly like the lipstick by Ewok Makeup Academy, and it really does look like it, and it doesn't feel like it. So this is quite like a softening but quite drying, mattifying lipstick, and this is in the shade Velvet, and I love how deep it is. It's that kind of like noir gothic kind of lipstick that I absolutely love. And you know what, this doesn't feel like a plumping lipstick at all. Like, it says Hydro Plump, but I don't feel any effect of it kind of plumping my lips. It's just a lipstick and it's just there, but it feels really comfy, and it just looks really nice. It doesn't look patchy or anything. The next we have by Coven. So Killstar in the UK and I guess US, Europe, whatever, they have like a makeup kind of collection that they rebranded recently. So I have their lipstick, the Velvet Grip Liquid Lip in the shade Phoenix Blood, and I absolutely just love the formula on this. The shade I feel like is probably a bit too like pinky tone for me, but it looks like it's kind of purplish, but it's like a deep pink. But I really like the formula and I really do like the shade. So some colors I'm getting used to like using over the years now because I'm trying not to be too fickle with the shades that I use. But yeah, I really like the rebrand. I really want to try the eyeshadow palette, but again, it's like £45 for a palette that I probably don't need. So next, let's go on to Maybelline. So this is actually a lip gloss. No, it's more like a lip balm than anything. So this is the Glaze Oil Balm, and this is in the shade Berry Haze. So this is super hydrating, and this is really nice, especially on like a cold winter day, especially even during autumn when I was using it the most. It's slightly pigmented, so it's not overly pigmented, and it's just such a nice hydration on the lips, and it lasts quite a while. So it's not like it's you drink something and it disappears. Like the shade, the color tends to disappear a bit, but the hydration stays all day. And then the last lip product I have is by NYX. So this is their Lip IV Hydrating Gloss Serum. So this is kind of like a non-movable kind of stain, and it feels so comfy on the lips. I love the gloss part of it. It looks stunning. I love, like I said, lip glosses are not like my favorite, but I like how this kind of feels on my lips and how shiny it looks and comfy it looks. And they've come out with like a ton of like nude shades. This is in the shade Mocha Me Wet, and yeah, I just really love how it feels on my lips. So that was everything that I have enjoyed in 2025, and it's been a whirlwind year. When it comes to makeup, with my personal life, I'm going to kind of keep that separate because this is just talking about makeup, I guess. But yeah, I have been enjoying using this makeup this year because there's always something that I'm going to start really enjoying, and maybe stuff along the way that I will be using in the future. I'll probably do a declutter soon because there is a ton of stuff that I do need to get rid of. I'm just holding on to it for no reason. But again, let me know what your favorite makeup of the year has been. Thank you for sticking
with my channel this year, I haven't been uploading as much as I normally would have, but again, for like personal reasons, life is busy, and you know, this is more my hobby than anything else. If it was a paying job, then obviously I would do it a lot more, but no, I just appreciate everyone that has subscribed and that is staying on my channel, watching my videos, liking, the usual stuff. And I hope you guys have a wonderful start to the year, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.